First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us at postwrestling.com and whatever podcast app you're using. And it's Tuesday, 10:08 p.m. My fault, which means
we are live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Yes, Braden was having a little moment. He was like, I look awful. The lights are bad. We've all been
No,
there.
it's never
okay,
I look
Braden.
awful. It's the lights are awful.
Yeah, it's exactly. No, you look wonderful. And we're here. We're happy. We're ready to talk about NXT. What a day we've had.
It's also sometimes like NXT, at least we're lucky enough where NXT never has the overrun anymore. Like some other wrestling shows, it can be you don't know when the show will end. Since the CW era of NXT, we kind of know it's 10 o'clock. And it was about 10 o'clock, 30 seconds in. They were the overrun of 30 seconds, and it was enough to throw my complete schedule off. But I think maybe moving forward, we could get we don't need to like end right. Like, what does CW air at 11? The news, probably.
The news,
right.
Yeah.
Like that's why they don't.
Well, it's one of those channels, right? That I think it depends where you are in the US. There's different programming, regional programming, and stuff. I think
because like it does suck if they gotta like the wrestling matches. Usually it's like they have to be on time because you got to get out of there. But I don't mind when there's an overrun sometimes. But shout out our CW affiliated neighborhood friends wherever you are. But shout out to the NXT friends. Friends will always be your NXT friends. You know, I saw a great comment in our YouTube. Sometimes we have good comments on our Up Next videos, Davey. Can you imagine? Can you believe
No, you're lying.
Comment. Last week on Up Next, we joked about like how this is the new, you know, sometimes when you move in, you move out some of the old NXT stars, or as we pour them out, it can be rough patches because it's like restarting basically with like new characters, new people, like kind of a reset almost on NXT. And I don't know if we were complaining. I'm sure we were, but someone said, hey guys, I found you through the paint splatter era and no one else continued, but you guys never gave up. So I followed ever since. And I was like, wow, that is a compliment to us not having anything else to do.
It is funny, isn't it? Because I think there was we had a moment during the pandemic where we were pretty adamant that when we moved to Patreon, that the launch of NXT on the USA Network, which also obviously coincided with the beginning of AEW, was the best time to start the Patreon, because we figured we might get some new listeners and might be more interest with NXT being on the USA Network and this new wrestling company starting. And then fast forward about 6 months, where there's a global pandemic and a lot of people took up baking, cooking, sewing, reading, and podcasting. And the amount of like NXT podcasts we'd see pop up in sort of that span of time, and then we'd have like 3-4 episodes and disappear, whereas we have been through it all. We've been through the highs, the lows, and the in-between, and we are still here as your NXT friends.
I'm seeing someone in the chat right now. Stephen Bradley in the chat says, you guys and Tony D, the only ones left from the paint splatter era of NXT. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Thank
true.
you. Appreciate that. Well, we got you. We're here. We're still standing here in NXT. Yeah, I mean, we have kind of been through the ups and downs of the whole thing. And I mean, I'll go on top of that. What other podcasters who cover NXT every week on Post Wrestling also are sick enough to watch NXT from the beginning? Because we also do a series on our Patreon called Was Next for you real NXT heads out there, where we go back in time and we've been rewatching NXT from the beginning and we're currently in 2014 in our series What's Next, and we had a crazy episode. I mean, I don't want to just plug, but we do know a lot about NXT so much that we do this other series. And the episode we did a few months ago, or last month, I guess, was where we talked about the debut of Becky Lynch, the whole Irish jig and everything. And then the episode we literally recorded last week, that's out now for all patrons, is this real, like, rare candy, a hidden gem of an episode. Not only the original French NXT superstars show up, which is just odd and eerie at the same time, considering this was the episode we're at, but a little weird, like, NXT trivia fact. The 4 horsewomen, who, of course, many attribute to, you know, the whole women's revolution of wrestling in WWE, at least. They've only had a series of matches where all 4 of them have been in the matches together. And the first time ever, and one of the only times, is on this episode of NXT, July 3rd, 2014. We just reviewed it. And it's a tag match where it's Becky and Bayley versus Sasha and Charlotte. So a very interesting episode for the real sickos. I'm talking CJ Parker as a hippie. I'm talking Sami Zayn on the hunt for NXT gold. Man, times were crazy. So whether it's paint splatter, What's Next, or anything going forward on Tuesday nights, we're here for you. We are your NXT friends, 100%. So we do cover everything else, though. We'd love to talk about all the other wrestling. And if you haven't checked out some of our other stuff, now is a great time to search Poisonrana Pod in your Spotify, Apple, YouTube, whatever it is that you use. Give us a follow and check out all the other shows that we do, because we did do a show on Sunday where we were talking about everything, like SmackDown, AEW, Maximum Carnage. If you want to hear our rundown of TNA debut on AMC, I made Davie watch it, and it made for some great audio content. So gotta shout out John and Way. My favorite review ever is TNA on AMC on their Patreon. Oh my, the boys have not lost it. No one's remembered the old days of John and Way reviewing TNA. Oh my God, this was my favorite podcast ever. But you can also hear our thoughts on our Sunday show. But yeah, that was a ton of fun. I'm sorry for making you watch that, Davie.
It's so I feel I had to. Every Sunday we do usually go live on Poisonrana Pod on YouTube. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's absolutely free. Do it now. Do it now while you're listening. Go on, search Poisonrana Pod, click that like and subscribe button. It's easy. We go live pretty much every Sunday to talk about whatever big events just happened, whether it be an AEW pay-per-view, WWE pay-per-view, and in this case, a TNA debacle. But we talk about everything else in the world of wrestling. We talk about AEW Dynamite, Raw, SmackDown, our thoughts, kind of, you know, it's Rumble season. We give our thoughts of where we think everything's heading to WrestleMania, anything behind the scenes going on that's had some traction in that previous week. We do that every Sunday on our podcast feed and on our YouTube. This Sunday is going to be a little bit different. We still need to kind of figure out the exact plans, but I will be braving the cold and heading to Montreal for Saturday night's main event. I think the plan is I'm going to call you probably on the drive home to have a little bit of a chat. So it's likely not going to be live this Sunday, but it will be available on the podcast feeds, and probably a little bit of a shorter show, because I am going to be with passengers, and I don't think they necessarily want to hear me go on for 2 hours about wrestling. So it will probably be a bit more, little bit more condensed, a bit more of a snap rana, if you will, talking about Saturday night's main event and my life perspective and your perspective from watching it at home. Often you do get a bit of a different thing, you know, with commentary and all that. So yeah, we'll be talking about Saturday night's main event, which is kind of the last big setup for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Montreal crowd, going to be a lot of fun. Going to be cold, but it'll be worth it, going to some wrestling, getting some poutine and having some fun. So we will put out a show some point on Sunday with Davie's kind of live thoughts on Saturday night's main event. Monday Night Raw is here on Monday, a week from yesterday. So I don't believe we're going to go, but our friends Boris, if you've listened to some shows, Boris from A+ Wrestling is doing a bit of a get-together before Raw at the Bottom Line bar. If you are in the city, make your way before the show. Go to Bottom Line. It's pretty much across the street from Union Station in Toronto. He's going to be doing some hangouts and all the wrestling people in Toronto. So go hang out with Boris, and we'll. I don't know. I don't necessarily see. I think this might be the first Raw in a long time that I might skip in my own town, which is crazy. That just shows how like a little disconnected I am from the product right now. Talking to some friends today, hung out with some friends of like, you know, wrestling fans and everything. A lot of people, it's maybe the prices that have drive people away for the ticket prices and so forth, but it looks like it sold really well for Tuesday, like definitely like 13,000 plus and so much. So the product is hot. I just, for myself personally, I don't necessarily, I reasoned with, I don't watch the show on TV, so I don't know if I want to drop $2 to go watch it. If that makes sense.
Always a good thing to say when we're trying to get new listeners to listen to our wrestling reviews that I do not watch WWE. It's always a great thing to tell people. Just
are you going to Raw?
Well, I've got an excuse. My girlfriend's in town and she
so
leaves
take
the next
her. You're
morning,
going to.
So
I guess you're going to Saturday.
I might be going to Raw. I'm not sure. Well, we'll see. But if she wasn't in town, I probably would be going. Right. But I do, however, actually watch the TV show that we talk about every week. So yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Monday. I do think we kind of talked a bit on Sunday's show that they are starting to make some moves in the right direction. I was very down on WWE last year, and I think the addition of some new talents, I think it also kind of helps whenever they go overseas a bit and you just got some hotter crowds, or in the case on Raw yesterday, like really like making Finn Balor feel the most meaningful he's felt in a long time. Kind of the same way we'll see with Sami Zayn in Montreal, like that hometown hero thing definitely works. I always liked that with, you know, AEW when they made Long Island feel a big deal for MJF, or even Pittsburgh for Britt Baker back in the day when she was a thing. I wish wrestling would kind of do that a bit more, because I always find it a pretty cool atmosphere when you've got the fans turning on maybe the babyface because they want their hometown hero to win and all that kind of stuff.
Like Sammy is definitely like the Canadian crowds are so behind Sammy in Montreal, right? But also I feel like Rumble being where it is, he's going to have that almost hometown advantage there too. If he were to, you know, be in that match. Now he's got what's the match at Saturday night's main event? It's a 4-way.
So you've got Priest, Orton, Trick Williams, and Sammy. And the winner will face Drew.
Okay, so you were saying on Sunday that you think Sammy will lose to Drew, but then go on to win the Rumble.
I think so. Yeah, I think
makes so much more sense.
I think you could have because they've started bringing up the story that Sammy's never beaten Drew. Now that has been cold for a little bit. I remember they did build that up a year or so ago, but if you have the championship match at Royal Rumble and he loses a 12th time against Drew, now that story is fresh in our head. And I think even you could do a big beat down stretcher job angle almost after, and a beaten down Sammy coming out number 30 to win the Rumble or something like that. I think it would be good. Yes, you have WrestleMania in Saudi next year. I don't know with like someone like a Sami Zayn if you want to wait much more anymore.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like his character is the bit of the like Daniel Bryan, right? The underdog, always going with that. Even like we were just saying, we're watching him in old NXT from 2014. It's the same storyline. It's underdog. But WrestleMania doing Saudi next year, maybe you would wait for that big moment there. So like you're saying have Sammy lose to Drew and then in the same night win the Rumble. And then I see they advertise, which we were talking about on Sunday, how we wanted a AJ versus Gunther rematch. And now they've added that to the Rumble. And the stipulation is AJ loses, he retires, like Ric Flair in 07 or whatever. Now I think piggybacking off your idea of Sammy should lose and then he should win, the phenomenal AJ Styles should win his match against Gunther and then win the Rumble and have like a big WrestleMania.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna say retire.
I found that really interesting last night because I think AJ Gunther, I feel is almost a story you could potentially stretch out till WrestleMania. Like I thought, okay, we'll get the rematch at Rumble and maybe, you know, down the line. But I was really surprised with how early they've pulled this retirement match because, and I think if it was against anyone else, I'd be, well, AJ's winning. But you're having it against the guy who just beat John Cena like a month ago. You know, that is interesting because I don't think you should be having Gunther lose this close after beating John Cena. Like Gunther should be on the sort of role Brock Lesnar was after breaking the streak, you know, just dominating. And I find that interesting because I don't think you should be having Gunther lose, but we know this is AJ's last year. He's, yes, take whatever wrestlers say with a grain of salt or a bucket of salt, if you will, but it's really early to just be pulling that card now. And especially just a week to go before the event. Yeah. Oh, he could potentially retire. It seems really strange. Now going off what you said AJ should win both. You could do it where Gunther loses against AJ and Gunther wins the Rumble as well. Like I think Gunther like said on the show, like, I don't want to be doing double duty. Like, why am I wrestling twice? Right. So kind of confirming he is in the Rumble. I think it makes it really interesting booking. And I'm curious to see how they go with it. Now, maybe AJ is like, hey, I'm kind of done now. I need to be done now. I don't know. But it does seem really early to be pulling that card, putting the career on the line quite now.
So you're saying Gunther retires AJ at WrestleMania so that AJ Styles can come out at Wembley and All In. That was you're saying?
I don't.
I gave up on that. Don't worry.
I'm not saying that at all.
About a year ago, I definitely was like, absolutely fucking not for sure. But I am interested in that match. You know, I watched. I did watch AJ and Gunther from last week. We didn't talk about it last week, but it left me instantly being like, oh, I got a little taster of what I think could be a great match, and it left me kind of wanting more. And then I think we said on our Sunday show before Raw, obviously, was like, oh, they should rematch this. Like we wanted to see like the real match essentially, and them announcing it at the Rumble, I was like, oh, awesome. And then saw the stipulation. I was like, that's kind of weird and a little maybe too soon, but I do want to see that match. And I would say I hope AJ obviously doesn't retire. I think they're going to milk this thing, maybe not to the extent of what we did with John Cena, but like AJ's got a lot left. I think we could do in a span of, I don't know how long or whatever, but I wouldn't imagine he's retiring just yet. And stuff
I
with
wouldn't
TNA,
so.
Like he's got to wrestle whether he wants to or not. Like he should. He looked at Kaz's title. That was enough for me to be like, get ready to fly one more time, AJ. Come on. Win the TNA title. Come on, one more time.
I mean, I think you should do a like they did with Flair, where the next match you lose is not necessarily doing that now, but wow. I always think that's quite a fun retirement, you know, like it's the next match you lose is your retirement. But speaking of AJ Styles, I was channeling my AJ Styles yesterday because I went to the floating sauna, which is here in Toronto, right?
The floating sauna community.
Right opposite my place, there's a sauna on the lake.
Oh, yeah.
It's like floating. And it's got an ice plunge outside, pretty much in the lake. So...
Wait, did you jump in the waters of Lake Ontario?
Essentially, yeah. Oh. Now it's really fucking cold here. No, it's a tub. It's a tub that's floating in the lake, but outside. So the water's clean. So the water's clean, yeah. But yeah, I was doing my ice bath like AJ in this crazy weather, like snowing and in the ice. It was pretty cool. Like, I mean, it was very, very cold, but I felt great afterwards.
I've not seen AJ do the ice thing, but everyone keeps sending me Stone Cold doing the ice plunge.
Okay.
Where he's dumping himself in it. Like,
right.
It is, you know, it does sound crazy. And here in Canada, a lot of like small towns do, like they call the polar bear plunge, where you jump in the water for charity and stuff like that. But in Japan, at one of the like really nice onsens, they had this hot bath next to the ice plunge, and I thought that's insane, but I was like, fuck it. So I did it, and I realized why athletes and people would do this. Like, it must be so helpful.
It's like, I think sauna / ice plunge is the greatest. No, I wasn't hungover, but as I did it, I was like, this would cure a hangover.
Right.
Absolutely. Like, I can't imagine feeling shitty after this. I felt energized, and then when I went to bed, I was out the fastest I've been out for a long time.
You start doing springboard 450s, styles clashes.
It's not that big, and like the ground is ice, so I was moving very carefully. But it was good. So I was channeling my AJ Styles there. But but yeah, I found that quite an interesting stipulation to add to the Rumble, and I think this year's Rumble, especially with the. I think whenever you've got the two titles, it opens the field up a lot more. But I think especially with Drew being the champion right now, it makes it even wider. I think there's a lot of people who could potentially win this year. And it always makes the Rumble quite interesting, because I don't think... Do you have a name in mind who's a definite winner of the Rumble this year?
No, not really. Yeah, like... Punk being champion, you would have figured maybe we would have went with a Punk route if maybe the Seth whole thing. Seth could pull the biggest ruse of them all by coming back from a fake injury, and oh wait, they did that already, right? Yeah. I don't know. Like you say, Sammy, but I don't know if it's the time. And like I say, Boy Who Cried Wolf with him a little bit. I don't feel that's
my problem. I think if you wait anymore, I think eventually people do start losing interest, and I think also just his age and the style he works. We see what happened with Kevin Owens last year. You know, do you want to hold it off too long? Do you want to go? They're wrestlers. It's combat, right? Like, do you want to be like, we'll give it to you in 16 months time or whatever it is? I don't know if you want to wait that long.
Yeah, I don't know. This year, there's a few like bigger names in it. You have Cody, who's been champ. He's won twice in a row, right? So I don't necessarily see him winning again. That would kind of be a little silly. I see Jake from the Windy City in the chat saying, unfortunately, I could see Roman winning it. And like, that's what I mean. And what comes to mind is people who've not been in it. Roman has been fucking champ for however long. He's kind of due for one. But then what's the match? Him and Drew? Him and Punk?
Roman Punk, yeah.
For the like fake title, I guess. Right? Like, I don't know.
There's always, you could go with the Bron Breakker again, have his second shot at Punk. You've got obviously the Sammy thing. Gunther just won one of the biggest matches. He should be in the title picture, really, for one of those.
Yeah, you're right. I would like Gunther back in like a main, like this storyline is he retired John Cena. He made him tap out. He should be fucking retiring AJ. He shouldn't be in this like losing situation if that's the case. So what you were saying earlier, like, yeah, like he retired. Think about this. He retired Goldberg. He retired John Cena. He retired Pat McAfee. Sort of people maybe he should have. I don't know if I want to watch Unreal season 2 from just the commercials alone, but out of, like you say, we do talk about this for a living, and out of the pure clips and memes, I can't watch it through that. I have to watch it with my own eyes to see what they try to tell me is, quote, unreal. Because from what I've seen just today, oh my God, I have thoughts, but my mom said, if you don't have anything nice to say, sometimes shouldn't say it, because wow, that is unreal.
Well,
is what it looks.
I haven't had a chance to watch any of it yet of season 2, but I will.
I think it came out like today or yesterday.
It came out today, yeah. So yeah. I think well, once we both had a chance to talk about it, we'll to watch it, we'll definitely share some of our thoughts on Unreal. Sticking on the Rumble though, I do have a tweet.
You said, like, no. You asked me, but I don't know, like, other than your pick of Sammy, is that your pick? Like, Sammy?
No, not necessarily. Like, it's what I'd like to see. I think it would be like creative that I'd enjoy, and I don't want them to, like, Sammy can be hot anywhere. Like,
I guess.
It's a big moment, him winning in Saudi Arabia, the Rumble, and then winning in Vegas. Like, people will still be crazy about it. Like,
yeah.
But I think there's so many options this year, and I like that. I always like having an open Rumble.
What were you going to say? What tweet?
Well, a tweet that literally just popped up for me, although it was sent earlier today, and it's from someone who we've been begging to be in the Royal Rumble.
Oh my God.
For
Steve
a long,
Blackman?
long time. The other one, Bob Holly.
Oh.
At the Bob Holly says, the Royal Rumble or a Battle Royal in general were my favorite to work. That's where I teach respect to talent who pissed me off by disrespecting the business. Someone like Sami Zayn, I'd chop him until he decided to get to the gym and stop coming to work looking like a mess.
Unfortunately, I hate to burst your bubble. I think this has been proven as a fake Twitter.
No.
Yeah. I should have known from some of these tweets that I was reading.
Are you sure? 66.7 thousand followers.
I feel like some people have figured out he's been switching his account from different accounts. I saw some people like calling him out for like you're faking it essentially. So it did break my heart too. But then I thought, could you imagine the real Bob Holly actually tweeting? Absolutely not. So that's what made me think it can't be him.
Could you imagine the Undertaker having a podcast like it's
with his wife?
Yeah, like we live in crazy times right now. Like,
oh man, well, Undertaker's podcast was so like you've heard me tell the boys multiple times, not even on podcasts, of like the Undertaker had years of stories and he's finally telling them. And then him and whoever his co-host was awesome because his co-host would be like, hey, I heard you, Viscera, or whoever, example, went to a strip club. And he's like, oh, yeah, this night was wild, brother, etc. Tells the story. It's great. Now his show is with his wife. So he's like, yeah, we went to the strip club. We went out, got sandwiches. And then it's like, dude, you're killing the vibe. You know, it's boys day. It's boys night. Don't leave the wife at home sometimes, you know. I'm not saying every time, but like, it's the Undertaker show. I didn't ask, you know, I didn't ask for her. When we want to know what inspired the Faith Breaker, we'll call you. We'll hit you up. What it was like to walk around with the best butterfly title of all time. We'll hit you up, girl. But man, I want to hear his stories kind of thing. But yeah, I don't remember what we were saying, but the Undertaker is going to win the Rumble. I think that's who my pick is. I have a thought, like you have Cody and Roman in the Rumble, and we were joking, I think a few weeks ago, like, are they gearing up for Cody Roman 3? And I don't think that is the case, but like, why would they even, none of them are champion at this point. Do you see them as like the final two and then Roman throws Cody out?
Well, that a lot of the discourse in the last week was perhaps that TKO wanted Roman Cody 3 and Roman to take the title, and Triple H not necessarily wanting that to happen, and maybe the compromise is it's a non-title match, and that is why Drew is now champion.
Interesting.
So
okay,
yeah,
so like
I think that is definitely still on the table, Roman and Cody.
Like, you know, Royal Rumble not only sets up your title matches, but you have little feuds that can spiral and splinter out of it, right? Like we've seen in the past. So you could do somehow that way. I'd say Cody Roman without a title. I guess, I don't know. I wouldn't mind one more time, but I don't think right now. So I'm kind of happy if that's not the direction, but we shall see. But yeah, so far adding, like, I would presume the title match is Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. Like, it's Montreal. He's going to win that 4-way. And then like, I do feel like Sami's winning that match. He might not win the title at the Rumble, but you have those two matches. That's pretty solid. AJ Gunther, Sami and Drew, we're assuming, obviously, but like, I'd say that honestly, like, those are two solid matches that have my attention that I would want to watch on top of having Rumble matches. So,
and if you happen to be in the Toronto area and wanted to watch the Royal Rumble, what should you do about that, Braden?
Absolutely. If you are in the GTA, the greater Toronto area, if you're in the dot in the 6 and you want to rumble, young man, you can rumble, because we will be rumbling at the National at the Well, downtown Toronto, 1 p.m. door time. The show starts at 2 p.m. because it's across the pond there. We will be watching the Royal Rumble. We got multiple TVs, screens. We're going to do the Rumble pools. Get your cash out. Get the cash out for the Rumble pools. Everyone knows the best part about the Royal Rumble is the Rumble pools. We got some prizes. We got Stone Cold vests, DX jerseys, some lucha masks straight from Mexico. We got tons of fun stuff. This is always one of the best shows to watch of the year, but also one of the best shows to watch with other people, whether it's friends or strangers at a big, giant bar. This is a new venue for us. The first time running at National, the Well, downtown Toronto. So very excited about this. We're going to have the place packed. We are en route to selling this thing out in just a few days. So if you're thinking about it and you're in Toronto, join us downtown, Poisonrana.ca for the links of everything that we do. Very excited. We went in today just before recording earlier as we were doing some finalizations on some things, looking to hopefully get the Royal Rumble shot returns. Davey?
With a twist, it seems.
Ooh.
But very excited. Had a great little walkthrough of the space earlier and bouncing some ideas around, and it's going to be a fun time in the afternoon, obviously, with it being in Saudi Arabia. 2 p.m. start, 1 p.m. doors. Come and get your tickets. They're moving really fast. It's going to be a great day, so don't leave it too late. We can't guarantee you'll be able to get in on the day without a ticket.
Yeah, this one's going to be jammed. This one's going to be crazy. We take pride in the community of wrestling fans in our city, and lately, like some of these parties, they get really busy and get really popping, and we know how to throw a party, and we like to have a good time. So appreciate anyone listening, even if you're there in spirit, you live across the country, the world, and you're like, oh, these things sound so good. Thank you. Appreciate. And you still can support by going to patreon.com/poisonrana. $5 a month gets you access to hundreds of shows. I mentioned Was Next is a show where we go back and re-watch old NXT, but we also do movie reviews, retro wrestling reviews. We did a best match ever 2025, a big two-parter. Part 1 is up for free on the Poisonrana podcast feed and our YouTube. So go check it out and count down from 10 to 6 and the worst matches of 2025. Then you can check out part 2, which is on the Patreon, where we count down all the honorable mentions and all the best matches from the year that was. Plus, this week, we're going to be doing an Up Yours, where family member patrons pick stuff. We review it. Sean has picked Ready Player One. I don't know much about this movie. I know it's about video games and it's Steven Spielberg.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think I'm sold, to be honest. So I'm ready to watch this movie and review it. And we recently did a Was Next, like I said. And then next week, we will be doing a 10-year anniversary of a show I was at, the Royal Rumble 2016. So you get all those shows plus everything in the back catalog there on the Patreon. So go check it out. $5 is all it takes. And you get all the shows.
At this point, if you're listening to us, you'll find out of our hundreds and hundreds of reviews we've done, something you'll find entertaining, whether it be an old wrestling event we're reviewing, some old WCW, ECW, WWF, or some of our best match evers. We've looked at some of the greatest rivalries, Rock and Austin, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat. We've looked at the greatest Hell in a Cell matches ever, greatest TLC matches ever. Like, we've been all over the shop looking at wrestlers' careers. We've got our profiles that are up there, like our Paul Heyman profile we did a year or so ago. The Champ is Here, where we've been going through every single John Cena title reign. There's a lot on there to choose from. And like well over 600-700 now at this point, and it's only $5 a month.
Yeah, go check it out. We have tons of shows. We will be getting back to the Champ is Here, a series we've been getting a lot of love for in 2025. So again, appreciate listeners, old and new. Check out all the other shows. Follow us, Instagram, all that stuff. Even if you're like, $5 is a lot, times are hard. Free ways you can support by following, subscribing, hitting that like, 5-star, all that stuff is dear to our heart. So thank you very much. Appreciate. And hey, maybe we will see you. If you are in the Montreal area, let Davey know. He'll be at Saturday night's main event. I'm sure you'll be bar hopping before the show around town. So let Davey know where he should go. If you're in the Vancouver area or Calgary even, please hit us up. We would love to let people know we will be going to Vancouver for Dynasty, and we're visiting Vancouver and Calgary. Want to know like maybe some spots to hit up and country bars. I don't know, but let us know. We're down, food options, whatever it is. Please, DMs are always open. And I saw Maple Leaf Wrestling is doing a show. We're in Toronto, but Windsor is close to the Detroit border down in Ontario, and Maple Leaf Wrestling is doing a 2-night like weekend, a Friday and a Saturday, March 27th, 28th. And the first night is now announced that it's a crossover show with Ring of Honor. And that sounds awesome. So you're going to get like all these different talent. I'm seeing talent from like Noah, CMLL, and Ring of Honor, and so much more. So if anyone's in the Windsor, Ontario, or Detroit, I see B Detroit in the chat. What up, Doe? Hopefully we get to see him, because we would love to make our way down to check out some not only wrestling, but Maple Leaf Canadian wrestling. And it looks like they're going to load up that show. I hope Takeshita is on that show. Run Back Speedball versus Takeshita 2, please. That would make my day. But like, I'm just shouting this out because this like sounds like a fun show that I want to go to. And it does make me question as a fan. Okay, Scott D'Amore runs Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Scott D'Amore doing a show with Tony Khan, Ring of Honor, makes you think maybe there's something there. Could this be a partnership that could lead to something more? That's like, I don't know, it kind of makes me think. They're doing more of these ROH crossovers in 2026. I saw with Texas and stuff like that. So very interesting, to say the least. But yeah, love it.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Shall we talk about some NXT?
I think so. There are just quickly before that, we do pour them out. We like to pour one out when we lose people, when things that are dear to us, we lose here on NXT, we pour one out. But we got to pour one out for someone we might not talk a lot on this show about, but I don't know about you. My heart sunk when I saw that Hiroshi Tanahashi cut his hair. A tear almost ran down my eye. Oh my God. He just he looked like Super Saiyan Goku, and now he looks like Jim.
A bloke. Yeah.
Like, bro, you have wrestling hair. By the way, there is no better wrestling hair. It was him, and he fucking cut it. Is that not like,
I mean, give it a year. Like, that's going to be getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and give him a year, he's going to be completely bald with a huge beard, He's going
to become a young boy.
Just like I'm saying more, he's going to be like more like Triple H, that he's president of the company, and gradually just that hair will just get completely shaved down. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm like, yeah, you said you're
make
retired,
documentaries about some poor decisions he's made in his company.
Yeah, imagine like an Unreal, but it's New Japan. What would that be? It's like, yeah, trust me, people love House of Torture.
Yeah. Yeah. We could have gone with Gabe Kidd, but we're like, Shota Umino, we're going to put the rocket on you.
Who's the guy that came out at Wrestle Kingdom?
Is Shota Umino Jey Uso of New Japan?
Who's the guy that they made such a big deal about?
Aaron Wolf?
Jake, no, he was kind of lit. Jake Lee?
Oh, Jake Lee.
It was like, what? This guy? Yeah. Like, yeah, we need Unreal New Japan. But man, like Sting, he retired and he was like, I'm still gonna wear the face paint though for a little bit. Like, he just retired the face paint. Where Tanahashi hadn't even been retired for like a week yet. He was like, snip, snip, chop, chop. Man, it's kind of sad. But I get the guy can do what he wants. It's his own hair. But like, I feel like that was the moneymaker. Was it not? He was a gorgeous head of hair on him. But wow. Anyways, I had to get that off my chest because it bothered me that another man cut his hair. But like, fuck. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we could talk about some NXT, I guess. We could do that if you wanted to. Yeah. We can talk about some NXT from Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. We get a recap of everything that's been going on. Obafemi leaving NXT high and dry for vignettes on the main roster. Maybe he wins the Royal Rumble, baby. Yeah. Maybe he like just comes in, does it all. That could be the way. We see a recap of how we're going to have championship matches, or qualifying matches, I should say. And then we see, this show starts off with Ava with the security guards. And for some reason, Ava has hired these guards to protect her from Tony D'Angelo because he's been attacking everyone. But for some reason, she starts the show by telling these supposed strangers, to Tony's just not the guy he used to be. He's just not the same when he lost his family. Anyways, be on the lookout for Tony. And they're like, yeah, boss, we got it. I was like, what? What? Imagine I'm hiring security guards. It's like, yeah, I hired you because my friend Tony's really going through it. His family broke up, his wife left him. It's like, they don't give a fuck, but they're jobber cops. So they're like, yes, we understand. Tony's not the same guy. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You work here, of course, because jobber cops. Yes. Later, they'll get security vests because they're afraid of getting shot, I guess. But they didn't have them here, I don't think.
Yeah, these are actual jobber cops this week, right? They're not security.
They're always jobber cops.
No, but sometimes they're just security. But these guys have the right to arrest people. So,
like the ones that come out later have like the vests, like they look like ice or something. I don't know what the fuck these guys were, but yeah. So out come Ethan Page to open the show because he is starting NXT tonight in a championship match, and Booker T on commentary. I'll get it out of the way. He's on one tonight, and I mean that. Like this was a night Booker T was in full Booker T glory. Whether you're a Booker T hater or a Booker T lover, he was crazy tonight. He was literally speaking gibberish, as I'll get into. But I'm in the camp that he has beaten me into submission, and now I just love Booker T on commentary because I don't think he's the best. I just think I watch this to be entertained, and I guess he entertains me because I still see, and especially near the end of the year, like a lot of hate on Booker T. But where are you with that? You hate him.
I think he's terrible. I think he's terrible. I think he's disingenuous. I don't think he really helps the product. I don't think he helps sell anyone apart from his horniness and
reality of
Williams. But sure, I laugh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know he's on his phone ordering DoorDash or whatever, but I don't know. He's ridiculous. And yeah, I think he's just beating him. I'm just used to him now. It was so jarring, and it kind of still is always when you watch him calling matches. But I don't know. I get a sick, twisted like sense of yeah, it's Booker T. He's crazy. So it's a crazy old man yelling at this guy. But Booker T calls Ethan Page the can man, and Vic is like, do I even have to ask? And he says, yeah, because when it comes to Ethan Page, anyone can get it. Yeah. Ethan Page in the middle of the ring has to go up against the debut of Elio LeFleur, who is the French luchador. We saw some vignettes for this guy. He wears the mask. He got it from Nitro, not the show, but the luchador. And this is his debut on NXT, and he's facing Ethan Page for the North American Championship. So he's got this like mask, and he's got some tassels. And I didn't love the tassels and the gear. I like the mask, and I didn't like the weird looking trunks. But then I watched him wrestle, and I was like, I'm okay with the trunks. You can stay, because this guy was very impressive, to say the least. He starts off by countering Ethan's move by doing like kip ups. It's like 450 where he lands on his feet. He then does a Rana off the steps on the outside. Like, this dude is very fast, and the Performance Center crowd, they really took to him with the "oui" chants, meaning yes in French. We have a commercial break. This is where Booker T was completely tripping over his own words. It started with him mispronouncing. I'm gonna mispronounce it because my spell check kept saying it was Florio, but it's Elio LeFleur, and Booker kept calling him all these different things, and then just completely stopped speaking English for one point. And then Vic Joseph said, if anyone on Twitter could send me a translation of what Booker T just said, please let me know. Booker didn't like that. When we came back, Page hits a huge power slam for a 2 count. LeFleur hits that like suplex into like the cutter that Goldust used to do. I know, I love that move. But then ends up getting hit with this huge big boot from Ethan Page, sending him inside out. There's then a DDT from LeFleur for a 2 count, a coast to coast for a 2 count as well. And he sets up for a 450, but Ethan Page gets the knees up and tries to pin him, but he kicks out of that. There's then the Ego's Edge, which is countered into a Rana. And then he goes for this like other jumping Rana move, but Ethan Page counters it into a powerbomb, where then he rolls up LeFleur with the tights, and the ref doesn't see it and counts the 1, 2, 3. Therefore, Ethan Page retains the North American Championship. But I was really into this match, and I thought maybe the finish, it came at this like screeching halt of like all the flashy stuff they were doing. And then I think maybe it just kind of slowed down in the moment, which maybe messed up the spot with like the tights and everything. But first impression of the French luchador for me is thumbs up, because this guy was almost a breath of fresh air on the show, like jumping around, doing really flashy looking offense to one of the biggest heels on the show. So I thought this was pretty fun.
I enjoyed it. I wasn't as high on it as you were. I didn't see enough. I actually didn't see enough different stuff from this guy that I don't see elsewhere in the show. I don't see from a Sean Legacy or whoever. Like, I thought he was good, and it's obviously a first week. I think Ethan Page is fantastic, and like is a great first opponent for these guys. And I know we both predicted maybe you just put the title on this guy week 1 just to hot shot him. I'm not disappointed that Ethan Page won, though, because I think he's been fantastic as North American champion. I'm not convinced by the look. I'm not saying get rid of the mask, because I do think it's unique to him, but I do get Americano's vibes from him, that it looks like a guy that shouldn't be dressed like this.
Didn't I say last week that I was like, hey, I don't like the mask, and you were like, oh, no, the mask is what's going to make him different.
Well, no, I think that, but there's also many different masks you can have, and you commented on his gear as well. Like it just looked weird. The short pants, short trunks.
It looked budget.
His pale skin, exactly. It looked like we have Demand Lucha here, which is fantastic, but you have a lot of regular wrestlers who wrestle as themselves everywhere else, but for Demand Lucha have their lucha gimmick solely for that. And that's kind of the feeling I got with this bloke. I think having a French luchador is awesome. And I don't think he should lose this mask, but I do think he needs an upgrade in his presentation, because this didn't necessarily feel to me like the big new signing star that you bring into the company.
I'll agree on the look. Like, again, once I saw him wrestle, I was like, I don't care, because he's what I saw was like, okay, he's pretty good. And I would love to see this rematched. If we do, they didn't announce like a PLE or anything, but I imagine we get this rematch again, because like, I thought he looked good, but I know what you mean. Like, first impression,
I didn't hate it at all.
Yeah.
I was just expecting me to come out this and go, wow. And I was just, oh, okay. It's another guy who does some jumps and stuff. Like,
I'll say, like, I'm already a fan, but if I had to say one thing I was like not sure about, was definitely the look. So I think we're on the same page there, but we'll see. But it's never too late. Sylvester Lefort, Marcus Louis. I tweeted him this week from our Poison Rana Twitter, and I said, hey, never forget the original French superstar. And he replied. Yeah. He replied saying, thank you, but I have lots of faith in, and he tagged Elio.
Sylvester replied?
He said, thank you very much, appreciate, but I have much support in Elio LeFleur. So I was blown away by Sylvester Lefort's not only replying, but also getting over the new guy. So shout out Sylvester Lefort, the money-making fighting Legionnaires, bring them back. You know, would it be too crazy to do like an unmasking with this guy? How ugly can he be? Come on.
Down the line.
He's probably handsome.
I don't necessarily see this guy having a mask forever.
Right.
But I think for now it works.
Got you. Yeah. I don't know, like Axiom. Like, remember that? Like, he never wore a mask, and then he did. And then now he's just stuck with it, essentially. But maybe he's more over with it than.
I think he is. I think A-Kid was such a generic, bland looking guy. Not a bad looking guy, but yeah. I think the lucha thing for Axiom actually works.
Right. It should have been Trey Baxter.
It should have been, yeah.
Ethan Page walks out after the match, after retaining, and then sees Ricky Saints, who makes his entrance, and they have a bit of a standoff here. Ricky in a very bright shirt. Was this like a mustard color here? Orange color. They look at each other, and Ricky has a microphone. He's kind of holding it down so you can hear them talking to each other. And Ricky says, look at us. we are the glue that holds this place together. Look at us. And Ethan's like, all right, relax, champ. Like, you're acting chummy with me. Okay. And Ricky's like, no, I mean that. For real, I mean that. Look at us. Now watch me. Go sit back, relax. I'm going to join the commentary. So Ethan's like, all right, thanks. Cheers. So maybe planting seeds of the team of these two down the line. These two is Ricky on, I will say this episode, I could be wrong, but I'm going to call that this was week 1 of Ricky really turning up his character to what maybe he wants it to be more as. Like, turning heel was one thing, but here he is with the bright shirts. And I know he always wears like shirts and stuff, but he was acting more like Seth Rollins Joker-esque. Like, he was acting a bit more like, you know, expressive and stuff. And then obviously joining commentary as well. So I don't know, like, you see this being a tease for these two?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned last week about how, because we actually got some feedback on our thoughts on Ava's treatment of Ethan Page, where there is an opportunity to turn this guy face at some point. Like, the crowd really like him. Obviously, Ethan Page plays such a great asshole heel, and I think when he eventually moves up to the main roster, that is the role he should be playing. But is there thought of maybe flirting with the idea of him being a babyface? Because I could see it two ways throughout this episode. I saw, are we either A, getting a faction, which potentially would be Ricky,
AEW,
Ricky, Ethan, Miles
Hobbs.
Bourne. No. Look, watch, like, from this episode, there was the thing with Miles Bourne, and then there was Ricky on commentary singing Sean Legacy's praises. And it's like, is that a group we could be going to where it's the 4 of them? And yeah, certainly, maybe a Hobbs comes in or something. But I also we had 2 interactions with Paige and Ricky, and both of them, Paige was kind of giving the look like, what's going on here? Who the fuck? Like, I was feuding with you. Why are you being nice to me? What is this? Where it could be that Ricky is gonna like lead Ethan on a bit and turn on him or whatever. And maybe it's a way to get Ethan Page as a babyface going after Ricky Saints as the champion. Like, could you have a thing where, you know, Ricky wins the ladder match and Ava said this thing about you can't go for the title holding the North American Championship, and maybe less of an Obafemi vacating, but more of like a valiant babyface. Okay, then I am going to put my North American Championship aside, like option C, to go against Ricky Saints. I don't know. I think both options I felt were kind of teased on this episode.
There's definitely something with Ricky and Ethan Page. Yeah. From that exchange in the beginning of the show after that match, I was like, all right, something's going on. I don't know. Like, they're both heels right now. I think Ethan Page's heel run this time around with the North American title has been fantastic. Like, in fact, too good. He needs to be on main roster being this. I feel like this exact character he did in 2025 is something that would be really refreshing for some fans on WWE main roster. And like, that's what the show is for. So like, sometimes we joke it's sad when they take our characters, but that's literally the reason for this. And I think like Javon Evans has been on Raw before Ethan Page, which is crazy because like Ethan Page has been doing this shit for like 20 years. So like I want to see him thrive. Shout out Hamilton. But like him and Ricky together as 2 heels does sound like interesting. I just don't know what the dynamic is. I see someone in the chat, Steven, saying, hey, Tony D never attacked Ricky. So maybe it's revealed that they're also aligned because of Tony's been attacking everyone, but Ricky hasn't been on the end of that. So maybe there's something that we joked about Hobbs. We talked about Hobbs on our Sunday show. Like, that's another thing. Obviously, Ricky and Hobbs were a team and a unit together. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why Ricky was so happy on this episode, because he knows I got my, what was it? Big, black, and jacked friend coming in. He's got to redo that shirt, but for WWE if he does. But which if you didn't hear, like, me and Davey are both pretty high on Will Hobbs and would love to kind of see him show up. I don't know if NXT is necessarily the spot, but maybe Ricky was happy.
I think NXT needs Will Hobbs more than Raw and SmackDown, but he's certainly ready for just main roster. Absolutely. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Ricky, Ethan, but they definitely are. They're definitely up to. If you thought last week If you thought Lexus King starting a stable with Stacks was crazy, just wait for what NXT's got in store, because we're gonna have faction wars in NXT, but no revelation of what's going on with that stable quite yet. But don't worry, it'll happen. Don't worry. People are worried, but don't. We get a video for Keanu Carver and LFG. So Davey, you watched LFG. What happened with Booker T and Keanu Carver?
I watched like 2 episodes of this thing, but Booker seemed fed up with him. Fed up of his attitude.
He said, "You're not going to be anything in this business."
It.
Yeah, you're not going to make it in this business. And then, well, wouldn't you know it, he did, because he's on NXT. And we see Carver leaving a sit-down interview that they shot, and they said that they're going to air later tonight, but he walked out of it. And then it cuts to Vic talking to Booker, and Booker doing his best no-selling that he's angry. Like, I don't want to talk about Keanu Carver. Like, so they're doing an angle here where he's upset that this guy has made it to NXT.
Yeah, this was very Marshawn Lynch. I'm only here so I don't get fined line with this interview, where he's just sitting there and he's like, yeah, I'm here, but I'm not doing this. Like, right. All I need to do, I'm not answering your questions, but I'm sat here. So that's the vibes I got from that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch LFG, but I think Keanu Carver made a big impact last week, and I'm at least curious why is there such a beef? What is his attitude? Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm shocked you didn't watch LFG. To be frank, this is what we do, Davey. We watch wrestling and we talk about it. Why aren't you watching LFG? Is this from the last season, or is this the same season as Jasper Troy? This guy was on 2023.
Well, LFG, it's like it's not necessarily a new roster of people each season, because it's about your performance center. So like Shiloh Hill's been on both seasons and etc. You know,
like WWE is just such a machine, and I can't knock them for coming up with other shows that involve wrestling, like your A&E Rivals show, or fucking even Total Divas back in the day. Like, I understand why you would have shows that aren't wrestling but are wrestling adjacent, and I understand that LFG might be for some people, but anytime you see a clip of it, I know I do not want to watch that show. If that makes sense. I see a lot of people hate on Evolve, but every time they showcase Evolve on this show, it makes me go, that looks pretty cool. They're young and up and coming wrestlers. It's short wrestling matches, and you get a glimpse of like the future of developmental even. Like, but LFG, I'd say, just shows me like more of this fake Undertaker beefing with this guy. Booker T's mad at this guy. I'm like, I don't buy it.
It's because it's, as I said, I call Booker T disingenuous. That's how I find him. Like, it's same with Bully Ray, like, who's just got this fake hard man persona and is pissed off by everyone. It's all these people that I don't genuinely buy. Like, if I saw a clip of Norman Smiley getting pissed off at this guy, I'd be like, what have you done to upset Norman Smiley? But it's, Booker T thinks someone's got an attitude. Bully Ray thinks someone's got an attitude. I don't care. Like, it feels so staged.
Like,
right?
I know I don't talk about a whole lot of UFC, but UFC is so popular and maybe oversaturated. But like, think of when the Ultimate Fighter, like, that hit a ceiling too, of like, okay, Tough Enough was cool years ago, or maybe it wasn't, but like, they're still doing it. It's the same thing, except it's even more like fake, and it was fucking fake then too. But like, I don't know. I don't know who it's for. I don't know necessarily. Every time they've been trying to push it on NXT with these LFG guys, I'm like, you're making me really not want to watch this show. You're telling me Shiloh Hill won LFG? Yeah, I'm not watching LFG. Jasper Troy is a winner on that show? Who the fuck did he beat on that show? Because like, yeah, no.
They ain't Maven.
Man, no one is. No one is. The YouTube sensation Maven. Banger theme song though. But yeah, someone in the chat right now, Big Time Baxter, big fan of the show. Love you, Big Time Baxter. He says, I roll my eyes whenever someone says the winner of LFG. Yeah, it feels like, I totally agree. I feel like they say that about like 10 different wrestlers, and I'm like, I don't even know who these people are, but okay, I guess I gotta watch LFG, but I don't think a lot of people do. We see that. So they're gonna go with this Booker T Keanu thing. We'll see what happens. Does it lead to a match? Booker T versus Keanu Carver.
Or does that at least lead to an angle?
Yeah.
Does it lead to Booker T coming off commentary?
Beat the shit out of Booker T. That would be fucking great. That would get people talking about it. To be honest, that would be great.
Yeah.
Book it. Fucking book. Next week, Booker T getting his ass beat by Keanu Carver. Speaking of LFG, we go from that to Shiloh Hill. Hey, Davey, did you know this guy won LFG?
What?
I actually don't know that, but I think he did. I'm not sure. All I know is Shiloh Hill. He's still new to this show, so I don't like to rag on people who are still sinking their teeth, if you will, into pro wrestling. But Shiloh Hill comes out to quite possibly one of the worst theme songs I've heard in recent memory, like Feel the Thunder. But on top of that, Shiloh Hill, he comes out and this guy wrestles in jeans. And that tells me everything I need to know about this wrestler. Other than the jorts and Billy Kidman in the jorts, I can't think of a jeans in a match wearing wrestler that's good. Street fights, not allowed. Think of any wrestler. Bob Holly, that was street fights. Triple H, street fights. Actually wrestling. His not baby blue jeans like this, though.
Big Bill.
I guess he's doing better, I guess, than Shiloh Hill, but is he? I don't know. You're not winning the argument with Big Bill, but Davey Boy Smith.
Oh
did,
boy,
right?
Yeah. That at the
you see where I'm going with this.
You
see where I'm going with this threat. Like,
yeah.
I'm not counting wrestlers who once wore jeans in a match. I'm saying who just wear it like.
I mean, Dean
gear.
Ambrose always wore jeans, didn't he?
But I think the if you will,
but you mean like the more blue wash
like
jeans.
Blue. This guy's wearing like blue jeans, and I'm like, okay. You're not even dressed to wrestle, and you don't do wrestling moves. Like, how did you win LFG? I don't know. Shiloh Hill versus who is he versing here? Josh Briggs. This is a qualifying match. The winner of this is added to the ladder match on February 3rd in the 6-man ladder match for the NXT Championship. Josh Briggs versus Shiloh Hill. Shiloh does hit one wrestling move I thought was good, like a shake, rattle, and roll neck breaker, if you will. I thought that was cool. This is where Josh Briggs gains advantage, and he starts beating down on Shiloh Hill. And Booker T, who I did already say is on one, says out loud that if Josh Briggs loses this match, and I quote, they might fire his ass because he ain't been doing nothing for a while.
Like, Vic kind of said the same thing the other week, didn't he? And that was coming from Vic.
So
he was like, I don't know if you'd be taking advice from him. He's been here forever.
Like Booker T literally said, if Josh Briggs loses, they might fire his ass. Okay. The match goes on. They start talking about Shiloh Hill. They move away. And Booker T, he's like, no, we're not done with talking about that. So he circles back. Anyways, let's go back to Josh Briggs. Yeah, because we're on the road to WrestleMania. And like, usually after Mania, we fire a lot of people. We cut people. And I would say Josh Briggs is going to be cut. Booker T said this on TV. I was like, damn, bro, you circled back to make sure. Yo, this guy's, if he doesn't get fired now, trust me, he's going to get fired later. Booker T had to let us know that. I was like, man, what a cutthroat show this is. Legit. He says this is a cutthroat industry. It's like, yeah, but man, like, I don't know if it's okay if you say it. You're part of the show.
Yeah.
It's literally, you're the part of the show. You're the voice of the show. Should you be saying that? I don't know. I thought it was funny, though. So, Josh Briggs, don't pick up your phone because spoilers, he doesn't win this match. So I don't know. By Booker T's logic, I'm not sure. But during the commercial break, Josh Briggs not doing his best to say, hey, keep me, because there's like slow sleeper locks, nothing in this match. They try to get over Shiloh Hill. Vic is like, yeah, he's got intellectual brutality because he's hitting running shoulder blocks. There's a flying clothesline. He gets big booted by Josh. His tooth comes out. Briggs hits, I would say, a very nice looking choke slam, but Shiloh kicks out. And then he comes back with like this double underhook and then a back suplex into the neck breaker. And
it was really weird. He hits this like double underhook suplex, which didn't really look devastating.
No.
And Briggs, I don't know if he was legit hurt or what, but he
didn't kick out.
He was really like, I don't know if he like landed awkwardly or what, but he seemed to be overselling this kind of weak looking suplex here. And it was to the point where I went, oh, maybe he's landed awkwardly here or something. But
it looked like Yeah, like the ref counted it was a 2, but it looked like Josh couldn't even get his shoulder up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he did hurt himself or not. And again, that would be terrible if this is during a match where he's like, oh, if this guy loses, he's fucking fired and he's getting hurt in it. That would suck. But he eventually gets hit with that neck breaker and Shiloh Hill pins Josh Briggs. Therefore, Shiloh Hill is in the ladder match for the NXT championship. After the match, Tony D attacks Shiloh and Briggs hits the one-handed chokeslam spine buster and then walks out. But I don't know. Josh Briggs has been someone we're like, okay, he's a pretty decent wrestler. We've seen his stuff before WWE. Since WWE, we got sold on Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs together. They took that away. Literally ever since then, I don't know. There's been some good matches and some good tag team matches, but he's literally been here for a long time. They keep putting him in this situation where this Shiloh Hill guy is so new and comes in and beats this guy. Booker T, this might be part of some story. I don't know, but like, I don't know what we're doing with this guy. If you're not going to use him, I guess cut him if that's the case. If that's what they're literally saying on TV, I imagine it's that they won't because maybe it is part of a story. But I didn't like this match. Shiloh Hill, like I said, this guy wrestles in jeans and he does running shoulder blocks and not really great looking wrestling. I'm not sold on this guy, this character, like at all.
Look, I do think there's that. I do think there's an element of charisma with this guy, and I can understand why he might have stood out in an LFG. And this is developmental, and that's fine. Like we've seen people really grow. Like we say, Trick Williams, like
True.
I still don't love his wrestling, but you can't deny his charisma, and he has improved in his time in NXT. I'm not saying this guy's necessarily going to reach those heights, but there's at least something that you see in this guy that you might go with and hope he improves. He should not be put in this title match, though. Yeah, and I do think it's kind of disrespectful to people like your Josh Briggs putting him in there. His moveset's incredibly basic, and I thought like this was the weakest point in the show for me. I felt it's. And I kind of said this last week. It's kickouts are like the big boot and choke slam is Briggs's finisher, and this guy is kicking out of them. This isn't the main event of WrestleMania. This is like just don't do the move. Like don't because it then means nothing. Like these moves don't get protected anymore, and it's just doing the kickouts to try and it's lazy. It's to try and get a reaction from this crowd because you're kicking out the big move. Because there isn't really enough substance in the match to captivate them otherwise. I didn't, the backbreaker suplex, the sort of suplex into the neck breaker. We've seen him hit this before. Maybe was it on Stacks, like a bit of a smaller guy where it looked better than this. This didn't look devastating enough. Like this guy, you've just kicked out of both this guy's finishing moves. And now you hit this weak looking neck breaker and it's the end. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with Josh Briggs. Is there a bit of a attitude or something backstage, and that's why they're kind of burying him a little bit on commentary because we've seen that happen before. I think there was a moment where Josh did the heel turn and he was getting the loud like Dominic Mysterio heat and the Briggs go away chants and that. There was an opportunity to ride that and at least have him as a challenger for the title in a bit more of a meaningful feud than they did. I think, didn't they do it as a 3-way or something like that? And now he's just losing to this guy. I'm not saying Shiloh Hill shouldn't be on the roster, but he should be working his way up. They should be doing it in the protected spots. Like going back to Trick wasn't wrestling every week on TV when he first came in. He was the manager. Yeah, he was sometimes in tag matches. He occasionally had a match, and then they were building him up, and it was obviously doing a lot in the PC and working those live loops and that kind of thing. I feel you should be doing that more with this guy. And I don't know. I find it kind of insulting to other guys on your roster to be putting him in this ladder match. It's not even just any match. It's a ladder match where there's so many aspects going on.
This is going to be like his third. Yeah. Like if this is going to be his fourth TV match or something, like that's brutal. Like considering that's your roster is some Evolve guys, a guy from LFG, and this guy who's been here forever. Like whether or not you like this guy's been a guy in NXT forever who should definitely be in this match. I think that maybe is why I'm not liking this character. We're in this NXT reset where it's almost like sink or swim, which we've seen on TV. They throw people into the fire, and if it works, it works. It doesn't, and burns a horrible death. But Shiloh Hill, it's like, hey, here's this new character. It's like I say, like a dark web Redditor, 4chan, Bray Wyatt, whatever you want to call him. And then he wrestles and he's not good. And then it's his third match where he's like, and he's going to fight for the NXT title. I'm like, what? Why? Like, what? No. And I think that's why maybe I'm quick to reject it. And I think back to Trick, like, yeah, we were pretty down on him. And then he showed up and improved. But like this is a little different because this guy's already wrestling and his gimmick is so like out of nowhere. I don't know. So far from what I've seen, this is some of my least favorite stuff in NXT in recent memory. Like they don't do the vignettes, but they let him wrestle. And I can't tell you which is worse to me. So I was pretty disappointed, not even with this match, but just like you said, is that not like, think of all the other wrestlers who are in this roster. I know the roster's been rated and there's not a lot of people, but like, really? How did we end up to this guy? Like, and a few of these people, Jasper Troy, there's probably so many of these guys back there who are like, I've been here for a while. Like, what are you doing with me? So,
like, fuck, even someone like Stax. I know he's doing his TNA stuff, but like, he's been around a while and shows a lot more than this. There's a lot more guys who have not had I know it's kayfabe, but have not had an NXT championship opportunity that this guy is already. Do you see this being a storyline with Briggs? Like, do you see anything coming out of this, or are we not going to see him on TV for a few weeks and he'll come out and lose again? Like,
you know,
what are they going on here?
I joked like, okay, I'm not saying it's okay when we say it, because we have made these jokes before about many wrestlers who have been released over the years. Again, we've been doing the show for a while. We talk about like, hey, it's either people get called up or one day you see that they've been released or whatever they call it now, contract expires or whatever. But like, to have them joke about that on TV, like, yo, this guy fucking sucks. This guy loses forever. He's been here forever and he's always fucking losing. And I don't know if they would say that, A, you're doing that because this is going to lead to like him freaking out or a character or an angle or something, or B, you're just actually dickheads and you're cutting him. And the gimmick is he heard this, he watched the match back and he walks out, and then we just don't see him in WWE again. But yeah, I don't know. Like he's someone that you definitely think they would have maybe at this point tried. And I don't know. Again, Booker was right. Having this guy lose to Shiloh Hill was like, oh, yeah. I mean,
when you broke up Brooks and Jensen, you assume they were going to go with one of them, right? And they really haven't.
Pretty brutal. We'll see. This ladder match that's going to be scary. These other guys have got to be in a ladder match with someone who's like, this is his fourth match.
I'm calling it now. We're going to have Shiloh Hill climbing. He's reaching up. He's going to grab the title and his tooth falls out. So he climbs back down the ladder to get his tooth.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Do we have Tooth Fairy gimmicks in WWE? That's at The Rock, I guess.
Triple H, isn't it?
The Tooth Fairy?
Was it? Well, oh no, The Rock. I'm thinking the nanny or whatever he was. Yeah.
Shiloh Hill could dress up like that at Halloween or something. But, and then I mentioned Tony D also attacked them. So like Tony D's just attacking everyone. He's 2026 JBL.
Yeah.
Like he's the new guy who's just going to start attacking people. That would be pretty funny, but he puts his spin on it. We see ZaRuca backstage with Zarya. Zarya is mad and a little injured because she lost in her match on, TNA Genesis?
Yeah.
And Sol is like, hey, I was there. I was trying to fight off all these other people, but I wasn't there enough to help you. But Zarya lost and then is selling this injured shoulder. But they have a match tonight. And Sol says, don't worry, because we're actually a team tonight. And we are going to win. And Zarya's kind of like, but like, where were you? And this and that. So yet again, teasing more ZaRuca.
I felt I think we've gone back to this too quickly. You know, if I'm thinking, you know, I think one of the best breakup angles we've had in a long time was the Festival of Friendship, you know, the Jericho Owens thing. And they did the thing for a while where they were starting to get on each other's nerves and they were blaming each other for certain things, and then they made up and they were good. And then it got to the Festival of Friendship with the turn, and that's when it kind of blindsided you, but it made sense because you had all those issues before. I thought that's where they were going with this, where you're doing the ZaRuca is fine, and then they are actually fine, and then they blindside you with the turn. Whereas I feel we've just gone back to how it was a month ago.
Like Zarya always gives her a look of like, this has been their team since pretty much the beginning of like every tag team of can they coexist? Like, why be a tag team at all? Just every day Zarya is like, you're a little sus right now. It's basically Zarya's look to her all the time. And I do think like Soul is the more like heelish, but you look at them, you go, the one who's huge and wears makeup and screams should probably be the heel in this storyline, not the chill surfer. So I don't know if it would go the other way, but they are in the match later tonight, so we shall see. But we go from that to the Vanity Project. We see Swipe Right. Now, here's a signing. You want to talk about changing NXT in 2026? You heard it here first, folks. Vanity Project, Swipe Right. These are the people to lead NXT into the promised land, at least for now. That's who we're putting money on, these guys, because they make us laugh, and they're pretty good wrestlers. But more importantly, this guy's name is Ricky Smokes. And it's the best wrestling name ever. You got Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor, which is also a pretty funny name. But I'm glad, was it Booker T who mentions that Brad Baylor kind of reminds him, did he say a scary looking Matt Damon? And I think me and you have talked about how
I've been saying young Matt Damon for a while.
Vibes, right? Yeah, Matt Damon vibes. And then, of course, I'm in Canada, so I'm watching NXT on Netflix, and they keep playing commercials of the new Matt Damon Ben Affleck movie where I'm like, oh, it's Brad Baylor. Oh, no, it's Matt Damon. All right. Yeah, sure. So Ricky Smokes and Brad Baylor, Swipe Right, are in a tag match against Chase U, Uriah Connors, and Cale Dixon. We got Evolve champ Jackson Drake from Vanity Project ringside and Andre Chase from Chase U ringside. As they make their entrance, I like Swipe Right, who look at the camera and they say, we work here now. We're officially part of NXT. Earlier in the match, they start kind of getting the best and going pretty fast with Uriah and Cale. And I think Cale Dixon and Uriah, every time they wrestle, you go, oh, yeah, these guys. And then they wrestle and it's like, oh, okay, actually, there's some good stuff here. And I'd say the same about Swipe Right, because there was some good tit for tat stuff here. Eventually, Chase U hit double topes to the outside. This is when we see Stax and Lexus King watching backstage. Maybe they're going to join Chase U. That's the faction. Stax, Lexus King, and Chase U.
Wow.
That sound I forget. I didn't say that. Forget I said that. Back to the match. Swipe Right hit a drop kick spinebuster combo, and Uriah kicks out. Dixon does his the Fosbury flop to the outside. I don't know how he does that, but very impressive. Eventually, he hits a twisting splash up top for a 2 count. That was pretty cool. And then Brad gets Uriah alone in the ring, and then they hit a pop-up knee. They send Dixon out, and then they hit like a scorpion death drop and a stomp assist combo tag move, and they pin Connors, and they swipe right on their first official NXT superstar match, I guess you could say. But I'd say it was a quick little match. You got a snapshot of everyone, but I still say these guys are already pretty interesting compared to a lot of other people we see on NXT.
I thought this was a lot of fun, and I think even given more time, they could have really got this crowd excited. I thought there was some great stuff from all 4 guys, not just the Vanity Project, but yeah, definitely Chase U really showed up. And I think even though they lost, this was maybe the most serious and competitive we've seen Chase U. Whereas normally they've gone out there and been fodder to, your OTMs of the world or whatever, where I think here they seem to be a bit more competitive. Like these 4, like maybe not there yet, but are definitely more interesting in the tag division than the people they are actually focusing on in the tag division for me.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Like if you were to actually make these guys, I don't know, if they weren't the Chase U gimmick, would these guys be more interesting? Like, I don't know. Is Chase U now holding them back?
I feel it's just kind of lazy creative trying to find a way to get these guys over and Chase U. They're like, I think both guys have a personality. So they were like, let's just do the Chase U thing again so we can get you out there and we can get you in skits that we know how to write, but didn't necessarily know any other characters to write for these guys, is the feeling I get with them.
Because if you present them to me and I've never seen them before, and you say, look, these guys are so desperate to be in Chase U, and that's been the storyline, but they lose. And Andre Chase, I mean, what is he even doing at this point? Like, would these guys be, if it wasn't for having all these heel teams, because that's all we have in this division other than Hank and Tank and Chase U, almost a heel turn would make these guys like interesting, because leaving Chase U would be like the story. But I don't know what else about anything else about these guys, except I know it's Finley's kid, because Booker's like, oh, this Uriah Connors is great. I'm like, yeah, you love his friend too. And I think he is good, actually. Get his brother in New Japan with the big gun. He comes into NXT and they start a faction too. So do that. I like both these teams, and I like their vanity project so far at NXT. And it's like, this is a snapshot of some people that they're not necessarily focusing on, but like you said, I think all these people are better than a lot of the other people that they've been throwing at us week to week. So I don't know. I like these guys so far. Booker T says he always used to go off on Chase U about like they're not a real university and everything. And I think Booker asked, is Andre Chase the only professor on campus? And Vic is like, I don't know. I've ever been on campus. Haven't you? And Book is just like, no, I haven't. It's because it's not a real fucking college. So we go backstage. Ava is with Mr. Stone, and they're talking about Tony, and she's very upset. She's like, I don't know what to do about this guy. I don't know. Do your job. So Lola Vice walks in, interrupting, and she says, hey, I've been really busy this week. I've been working. Last week I beat Kalani. This week I was in Mexico City for AAA on Fox, and like I'm on fire, and I want a shot at Izzy's North American title. That's when Thea Hale comes in a nice coat, I might add. Very nice, like cheetah style coat, and says, hey, I want my rematch. And Lola's like, please, Mamacita, Mama, you were barely champion, which I thought was the most scathing thing someone could say to in character.
Especially as the baby face. Like, Lola is pretty pure baby face.
Loved it. She won by a fluke and then lost it.
But also, Thea's been unbearable the last few weeks.
Even here, she's a heel. She's acting like a heel. She's wearing a fur coat, and she's like, yo, where's my rematch? So Thea says, you're both valid. Therefore, on February 3rd, they're going to stack this show. It is also going to be a triple threat match. Lola versus Thea versus Izzy for the women's North American title. So we shall see. Mama. I don't think Izzy's going to lose it thus far, but I want Lola. I want Lola Vice like stepping up at the next level. I would much prefer her as champion than Izzy Day.
I think one of the things I sometimes have an issue with in NXT is that we've seen a Lola Vice challenge for the main title a few times, and then they're just like perfectly fine going for the secondary title. And I think that happens a lot across the board. But I'm always like, no, Lola, you should still be pissed that JCJ, you should be women's champion. Really. Yeah. Like, you got screwed twice, right? Like, so, but yeah, it's at least I'd like to see her win something this year for sure.
Mama. Did you watch? This was the AAA taping she was referencing. Like, they taped a few episodes, right?
Yeah, they didn't they have the first one? Yeah, they just aired their first one, right? Recently.
You know, I was seeing some mixed reaction online, like from people who actually like we cherry pick when it comes to like watching, you know, AAA or CMLL or a lot of other stuff. Like, we obviously check out other wrestling, but I did see some thoughts like from was it Lucha Blog or Rob Viper social media of like some thoughts on that AAA and like how the whole thing was like, no, we're not gonna, what was it? We're not gonna Americanize it. We're not gonna bastardize it. And well, you can figure out what maybe some people are kind of saying what they did.
Yeah.
But CMLL is thriving. I can't believe it. Like, I would have not saw that coming with AAA, like getting WWE backed. You almost kind of just assumed like, oh, they're gonna crush it, and CMLL is in trouble. And I would say that is not the case whatsoever. But anyways, I do though think it's cool Lola Vice is working it. So that's give her a title down there if she's not champion up here.
Yeah.
We go to the sit down interview. This is the one that they teased earlier. Keanu Carver sits down. He's being interviewed by Blake Howard, the new backstage voice that we've seen a few times. And you said he does this whole shtick of, I don't want to be here. They made me do this. They're making me sit here. I don't want to answer any of your dumbass questions. And he's like, yeah, well, like we have this time. You've been given this time allotted to talk. And he's like, I don't care. And they're like, well, you won the 2023 breakout, and then we haven't seen you. It's like, yeah, some people don't know who you are. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And then he gets up and he walks out.
It is funny because in reality, like, you should just have someone come out and be, do you know how many people we've got trying to get a job here? Go home. Like, you're fine.
You don't want to be here?
Yeah, fine. Go. Part of the job is interviews. Part of the job's talking.
Josh Briggs is fighting for his fucking life, and you want to just not be here? Come on.
Yeah, come on. Get out of here.
That'd be great character. And then his whole thing is like, wait. I might want to be here. You know, okay, this is a different take to like a character, because his thing is he destroyed people, and now he's like, I don't give a fuck about anything. And it's like, okay, at least it's a different, like, some characters are like the more silent type, or like the stoic promos of like, you know, your Romans, your badass, or your Obas like we've seen in NXT. But here he's just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll kill everyone essentially. And it's like, all right, it's a different take. So less talking, more action. But let's see. I would like to see where we go. I think I've now talked myself into him. He has to beat up Booker T, and that is the only option we're going to go with. So,
oh yeah, 100%.
He needs to do that. Let's all agree that has to happen. So Booker, he's coming for you. I didn't mean that, but Booker T, Booker T, Keanu Carver is coming for you. Jaida Parker comes out, gets a huge reaction from the Performance Center, just like last week. The Miss Parker theme plays as they chant Miss Parker. I know she turned babyface officially now, because she says, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Smiling. She's like, oh, you guys.
Yeah. I knew right away. I was like, oh, yeah, she's not that character anymore. So she says, thank you. I appreciate it. She starts to shout out like lots of the women in this women's division. Again, that's definitely something of like a baby face. She's given all the flowers to everyone. She says, you all deserve the flowers, but standards need to get checked. Standards need to get up when they get knocked down. And that's what I represent, because I am the standard. And Jaida, people used to say, Jaida, smile more and talk less. Well, no, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lay down. I'm going to get back up. See, every time I get into a room, the room gets tighter. When I walk in, the air gets a little harder to breathe. And everyone wants a piece of Jaida Parker. When the lights go out, thought it was The Undertaker for a second, but it's not. As we see the spotlight on the perch as Blake Monroe is standing there. I loved this, though. Like, Jada's character she talks a lot of shit, and she doesn't she just lets it out. And when it cut to black, you don't really see this in wrestling. When it cut to black, you could still hear her. And she goes, oh, I hope you lying. I hope you're not doing that to me. No, girl, you're not into who, where are you? Show yourself. Who's interrupting me? And then it cuts. She's like, you. Oh, hell no. I knew it was you, essentially. And I thought that was great, because when someone's talking, the lights go out. Your mic is still on. So you could talk, but no one ever does that. So I thought it was something different from
and also sort of talking over Blake a little bit, like not letting her. I'm not listening to you. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're not interrupting me.
I'm having my moment. Go away.
Blake does get some words in before Jada's pretty much like, nah. Blake says, you interrupted me last week because I know that you feed off attention. Obviously, talking about herself here. She starts saying that she's the real star of NXT, and like, how dare you steal her time? So that's what she's doing to her now. And Jaida says, no, we're not doing this. You're not interrupting me. And says, if you want to be on top in NXT, then you got to deal with you know who. as the crowd says, Miss Parker. And then Jaida says, bye, and throws the mic away. So obviously we're going towards a Jaida versus Blake match. I wonder if they would announce it for that February 3rd show. No discussion or mention of Vengeance Day, which is usually the like Valentine's Day PLE. True. So maybe they're stacking up this television show to maybe, you know, instead of that. Yeah. Doing a PLE outside of Florida right now would be tough. I would say you don't have Oba, Javon, Trick. Like there's a lot of characters that are not on NXT anymore. So maybe that is the reasoning there. That's just me assuming. But I do imagine we're going to Blake and Jaida. But what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought, you know, Jada's reaction last week was huge. She's immensely popular with this crowd. I thought I always am impressed with her on the mic, and here seeing her more as a pure baby face, still with an edge, I think really works. I thought she came across really well. The thing I found weird about this segment is, unless I'm forgetting something, she didn't get written off TV. She didn't get injured. Like, she's just been away. Like, so it felt a weird return, because it's like, where were you? And it wasn't really addressed in the promo.
Was she not injured? Oh, I thought she was injured. Am I wrong?
Was she injured? I can't
remember.
I just thought she kind of disappeared for a bit. And if she wasn't, because she was saying things like, yeah, I've been watching, and, you know, I want to give like Lola Vice her flowers. I want to give Kendall Gray her flowers. Like, and she was saying, like, while I've been watching at home, but it wasn't like, you know, while I've been at home resting up my injured ankle or whatever, I've been I don't know. It just felt like there was a bit of an elephant in the room that wasn't being addressed, and I don't know what that elephant is. Yeah, I just wondered where she'd been. But yeah, I'm happy for. I'm glad kind of Blake is just away from the North American title. I think it's, you know, that if it went wrong, it fucked up. Let's just move on and do other stuff. And I'm hoping we can get a bit more of a interesting feud with Blake and Jaida, and it might work better, because the other real big feud Blake had was with Jordynne Grace, and unfortunately, I just don't think Jordynne Grace is up to it on the mic. Yeah. Whereas Jaida absolutely is. So maybe this is the feud that Blake Monroe needs as well.
Yeah, I'd say Blake for me is 0-2 for feuds in NXT. Like, I haven't liked really either. I'd say that Jordynne Grace at least had some stuff in it that was okay, but didn't love the little Thea stuff. Megan in the chat says Jaida was in a program with Lash, but then she got called up, leaving her in purgatory. Yeah, remember, like, they were teasing the feud together, but then Lash is gone, and then
like it almost felt like this promo was, you know, when we've seen like Gigi Dolan be released and Tatum Paxley just has to look sad, or when you know Zachary Wentz got released and Wesley is not addressing it but just being like, oh, I'm all on my. It felt like that. I was like, well, where have you been? So, oh, it's so good to be back. Well, you could have been here 3 months ago, couldn't you?
Chilling. Just been hanging out
with Jey Uso. Yeah,
I didn't want to say it, but allegedly.
Hey, men and women can be friends, okay? Like, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah. What's the thing Jey Uso does? The like, we going to do it again?
Yeet. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Oh, is that what he did?
It's okay. You don't watch the main roster. Yeah. He does this thing called Yeet. Yeah.
Oh, Yeet. Is that what
his twin? He's tagging with his twin brother, who's called Jimmy.
Oh yeah. No, dude, I watched them fight each other, and one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen in my life. So you ask me why I don't watch.
Oh, we're gonna get it again.
What? We're gonna do it again?
I think so.
Anyways, we go from that to Miles Bourne is backstage with Ava and Elio.
Yeah,
he's there. Okay, you know, I give this character Ava a lot of shit, and I'm gonna give her more shit on this show. Trust me, as the show goes on. But this lady is out of control. This character is out of control, and I'll tell you why. I love to pick at this character via kayfabe because she is a terrible boss. Elio LeFleur, your newest superstar, French luchador, debuts tonight. Ethan Page, let me just remind you, Ethan Page cheated to beat this guy, right? We all watched it, right? We watched it. Ava, it's your show. You probably watched it, right? Okay. Here's what Ava says to him. Don't worry about the loss. There'll be other opportunities in NXT. Thanks for coming. Anyways, yo, he cheated. Give him a rematch, dude. Ethan Page cheated. Don't worry. Just it happens. It's NXT. Welcome to the show.
Referee's decision's final, you know? We had a rematch every time someone cheated. We'd be on an endless loop of the same matches.
Just
over and over again.
I don't know. You could have had, she already hates Ethan Page. The gimmick is established of she's like, this guy is evil. He literally used the tights and she's like, sorry about that. Anyways, got to talk to important people. So Ricky walks by and she's like, hey, where do you think you're going? And he's like, I'm going to join commentary again for the qualifying match. And that's when Miles Bourne stops him. And that's when Ethan Page comes in. So we got Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, and Miles Bourne. And this is what you were kind of mentioning earlier. And Ethan kind of says to Ricky, don't waste your time with this guy. He's not ready to step up. And Miles is like, what do you mean? I got a qualifying match. He's like, yeah, well, I don't think you're going to win because everyone knows that you need to do what you need to do to win. And I don't know if you got it in you. And then walks off, leaving Miles Bourne to contemplate, do I cheat to win? And will Ava even give a fuck about it if I do? So I think you're right. Miles Bourne in his qualifying match next week, he gonna cheat. He's gonna roll up some tights even.
He's got to, right? They've been doing this Ethan Page, Miles Bourne, little backstage stuff for weeks now where it's got to lead to something. And I think Miles joining Ethan is way more interesting than them having a match.
Fair. That's fair. We don't know what we're doing with Miles anyways. Yeah. We've given him the title shot against Obo. We've given him tag stuff. What else do you do with this guy? Maybe that has been the recipe of NXT. You look at your Roxanne Perez. Hey, my gimmick is I'm this fresh up and coming kid who's so happy to be here. And then that wears off pretty quick. And then you turn evil. You find your actual character, and then you can be babyface, but now we know kind of a bit more who you are. Whereas don't know much about Miles Bourne other than they reference hey, the hearing thing. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of, they've tried and they have done a good job before. But I think a character change and therefore a heel turn could really maybe flesh out because I think he's a good wrestler. So you're saying Ricky, Ethan, and Miles as the group.
And Sean Legacy.
Oh, and Tony.
And Tony.
And Will Hobbs. This is the Ricky Saints family. The Saints, many Saints of Ricky, but we'll see. Maybe they do an NXT Star Search. Did you get the ads for Star Search while watching this on Netflix?
I didn't pay attention to the ads. No.
Was that a thing in the UK? Star Search?
What is this?
It's where Britney Spears was on it. Was Celine Dion on it? This show was really back in the day, and people go on and do their talents and singers or stand-up comedy and stuff. And then a lot of famous people came through it, but it's being brought back as one of Netflix's live shows where you can live vote and stuff. So Netflix coming for that live programming with this. I feel like they're really going to be swinging with this show. So be prepared for more ads of Star Search. But it is interesting. It hasn't been a thing for a long time, but I kept seeing it tonight on my feed. But you could have wrestling on it in today's age. Star Search, that's a thing. Instead of singers, you could be wrestling. We go to our next match, qualifying match for the NXT ladder match. Kind of what we were saying earlier. These guys haven't necessarily been in a lot of matches on NXT TV, but they do tell us on commentary, being in Evolve and everything. These two are pretty well traveled, even though they're new to us, essentially.
Yeah. So essentially, it's Evolve is. I get the feeling it's more your indie wrestlers. It's maybe your WWE ID superstars, and LFG is your shit ones.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
So I'll rephrase that. It's your next in line program, right? It's more your football players, your Olympians, your college athletes. It's those kind of people they've brought in and are training. And it's so therefore has more of that tough enough feel where it's training from the ground up. Whereas Evolve, it's more yeah, as I said, your WWE IDs, your Jack Cartwheels of the world, and these guys.
Like, imagine being someone who's wrestled on the indies for 5, 10, 15 years, and then you finally make it to NXT, and you have to do training sessions with some like volleyball or football player, and you've traveled to Japan, Europe, wherever, and then you get to WWE and you're so excited and you're in this warehouse in Florida, and then some fucking college athlete's like, hey, what's a hip toss? It's like, oh man, that's gotta hurt.
But then you got people like ZaRuca, who's already leagues above Natalya could ever dream of being. So
come on. Apparently her book is really good. How dare you? This is Canada.
Maybe write more books then. She
She
turned heel last night.
Did she?
Yeah. Turned on
did she
Maxine. She turned on
Oh, that's
Maxine.
good.
She cost her
That's
the
all right.
match. Yeah.
I think Natalya will eventually be a trainer. Obviously, she's doing the stuff with the dungeon, but she'd be good with WWE. But like, okay, there is instances where athletes pick up stuff because maybe they're fucking destined to do this shit. But when I see Shiloh Hill, Jasper Troy, et cetera, it does make me wonder what's going on. But like we kind of joked last week, there are tryouts where maybe they'll get new people who are actually wrestlers, but we shall see. But this match was wrestling. Shawn Legacy, Eli Knight. Yeah. And we have like insert audio, not video, but audio promos from these guys. At first, I thought this was a mistake, but both of them had the same type. So it's like that, right?
Yeah, this was weird. Like so it's normally you have, you know, they're making their entrance and you've got the little box in the corner, the picture-in-picture, and you see them talking. Now, was this a deliberate thing where it's just a voiceover? Or did they fuck up with both of them? Or did they fuck up on the first one and thought to not draw attention to it, we'll do the same with the second one?
Yeah, because it was like your inner monologue, like talking.
Yeah.
It's like the Wonder Years. All of a sudden, Shawn Legacy's voice is, I hear it, but I still just see him coming out. So I was like, that's weird. But anyways, I liked Eli Knight's music. I will say it was cool. It's like a hip hop beat, but it sounded nice. This was pretty fast action. Like these guys were countering each other's moves, like they're smaller, real quick athletes here. There's flying cross bodies. Eli hits this really nice moonsault to the outside. Picture in picture, they're both going at it. Legacy is doing standing moonsaults. We come back. There's roll-ups and counters to roll-ups. There's super kicks. Legacy hits a 450 splash for a 2 count. There's a really nice belly-to-belly into the corner from Eli Knight, and then another moonsault where he like does it like Andrade, where he moonsaults, the guy rolls, so he lands on his feet, and then does a moonsault again. At one point, there was like Legacy counters one of Eli's moves, and we've seen Legacy hit this move. It's his finisher that kind of reminds me of Ospreay's Stormbreaker, right? Where he gets the guy up in a different way, but then spins it into that move. It is very impressive. But Shawn Legacy gets the pin, winning the match. And afterwards, just like earlier, Tony D'Angelo comes out and attacks both of these guys. And this is where Ava comes out with the security henchmen, with the security vests. These weren't just everyday jobber cops. This was like, their gear was tough. And they escort Tony D out the building. More on that in a second. But fun little match here, I thought.
Yeah, I was really impressed by both these guys. I think Shawn Legacy, especially, every time we've seen him, has really impressed. And I had no problem with either of these guys being in this match. You know, we got that with the Iron Survivor this year, where you had your like more NXT veterans, and then you had your Kendall Grays in there. You know, your new up and coming. I've got no problem with that in this ladder match, because I think both of these guys could be pretty spectacular in that and really make a name for themselves. As I said, I reiterate, I don't think Shiloh Hill is ready for that spot. But I think this was a good showcase for both these guys, and they made it seem that these two are now like a bit similar to Vanity Project, like a bit more permanently in NXT. And this is where I found Ricky Saints interesting on commentary, because he actually wasn't coming across very heelish at all here. And that's where I'm saying about the potential faction, because it sounded like he was scouting. He's talking about wrestling these guys in different countries and like seeing them in Reality of Wrestling and other places where it felt he could have easily come out here and just be Ricky Saints heel and being like, yeah, these guys are good, but they're not me, and like, you know, insulting them and stuff like that. Whereas he was really trying to put them over, which gave me that kind of scouting vibe. And I think it was mainly Sean Legacy he was championing here. So
I think these guys were very impressive. Like, they were pushing that Eli Knight. He looks younger than Sean Legacy and a little smaller too. But some of the stuff that we've seen even in the match before where he was on TV, like some really innovative moves. So I would love to see him as an addition to NXT. Both these guys, like, honestly, we have seen a lot of Legacy, and I would like to see a lot more. And if you're saying there's a potential with like something with him, Ricky, Ethan, I'm not sure. Like, I think that would make a lot of sense. We need something exciting, and we need some angles and some teams that aren't just Lexus King and Stacks. And like, we need something in NXT. So I don't know, like, that isn't the worst idea, because this guy might be a little bit of a hidden gem here with like flashy moves, and I don't know, he could fit well with other wrestlers. So I do understand what you're saying. I will say that would be good. I'm hoping it's not just Ricky, like I said earlier, playing up that he's such in a good mood and he's so nice and happy, because he knows someone is going to come and help him win the title, like Hobbs. So maybe he's just being extra nice because he's like, oh no, I'm in a good mood, because he knows like doesn't matter who wins these matches because he's in it, and etc. I could be reaching, but like, I do hope there's something there with Sean Legacy and these guys, but we shall see. But I mean, the real story here, two impressive athletes, but Tony D taking them out and getting arrested, because that's pretty bad. I'll just jump to when we came back from commercial, because it connects here with Tony D'Angelo. Tony D is being escorted out of the performance center by these officers in vests, and in a bit of acting that made me spit out my drink. He's being walked out, meaning they got like the zip ties or handcuffs. It's the walk of shame here for Tony D, as these officers, if they even are officers, walking him out. And you just see Ava with her arms crossed, and she's just shaking her head.
Shame.
You left me no choice, Tony. It's like, oh, come on, man. I literally choked. I was, oh my God.
Again, just fire the guy.
It's literally your job. But I get it's the character, but oh my God, ridiculous. So he's getting arrested.
Yeah.
So for once, someone in NXT, the parking lot, is being arrested in the parking lot. Sort of. It's like the side door. And now get this. Tony D'Angelo is being arrested by these cops or whatever agents these are. And while this is happening, you just see in the back of it, OTM creep up. They see Tony getting arrested. They don't even help him. They don't even care. They're not fazed by this. And they come up and they look at the cameras and they say, we want to challenge Dark State. So we get a match. I honestly couldn't really, I got to agree with you, because I could not really understand what they were saying until they mentioned Dark State. And I was like, oh, right. Yeah. They want tag titles, because they shot this outside, and I swear the guy's got grills in his mouth, and it does make it really hard to understand what he's saying. So OTM are challenging Dark State. I do think that's added next week, but Tony D gets arrested. It's popping off on NXT. I guess. I don't know. I did this segment was so funny to me. Just Ava just standing there like the smashing machine. It was not right here.
Like it's weird, this Tony D'Angelo thing, because they're presenting him like he's Sting, but the difference was Sting was there to like scare the evil faction that's taking over whereas Tony D's just taking out everyone. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. I don't find it very interesting at all. And we're going to have to get to a match soon, because I don't think this is going to, like, you can't do this for the length of time Sting did it, you know?
Is Tony like the guy Ricky's hired to, like, I don't know. I agree with you.
It feels like such a lone wolf gimmick, though, that I don't get the feeling that he's working with anyone.
I don't like it. Like, it's not exciting. It's not like, yeah. I don't think it's doing. We gotta move this on. So I guess I'm getting arrested is the next step. But like, okay, I assume he's in the match. In fact, I think he should win it more than other people. But at this point, I don't care. I guess we go backstage. Vanity Project. Okay, this was funny. Vanity Project are celebrating their win. Now you got Jackson Drake standing there, and he's talking about how he is hoping he has a qualifying match next week. But you got Brad Baylor sitting down on like backstage gear boxes that they have.
Yeah.
And he's sitting next to this blonde girl. And then you have Ricky Smokes, who's standing next to them with his arm around another blonde girl. So I guess Vanity Project groupies, they swiped right, I guess, actually. So they're hanging out with these two girls while they're discussing this. And then they're talking about Chase U. They're like, we made light work of Chase U. Everyone knows Chase U isn't even a real school. I mean, their mascot is a sweater. Lame. They then say that Jackson Drake's going to win the qualifier when Mr. Stone comes in and he goes, Jackson Drake, I just talked to Ava. You do have a qualifying match next week, and your opponent is Joe Hendry. And then you hear the song say his name, and when the camera pans back, you see Ricky Smoke's hand around the blonde. Instead, this blonde is now Joe Hendry. So when Brad realizes it first and is staring over at him like, what's going on? And then when Ricky realizes it, he gets his hand off him and is like, what? And Joe is like, cool, I can't wait for the match. Stone says, no worries, that match will take place next week. And then they walk off and leaving Vanity Project alone with now just the one blonde. And Ricky is like, I think I kissed Joe Hendry. And he's like, no, dude, we don't know that. You don't know that, dude. And then they console him on he may have kissed Joe Hendry. So, yes, some very college humor here.
I'm kind of over the Joe Hendry thing, but I thought this one was pretty funny.
Out of the fridge, out of the trash, out of all those things, I would say this was up there at one of the more creative things. The fact that the segment started with his arm around the girl, and then by the time the camera came back, it was him. Like, it's funny. It's hokey, but yeah.
I think we did skip over the, and I know you really want to talk about it, but there was a segment with the culling, and
yes.
Both Sean and Nico were congratulating Izzy, but saying that they have a desire to go after the tag titles. And you had this and then went straight into the OTM thing. And it just made me think how miserable this division is.
So they said that Izzy, you have seized the culling talk in words, how everyone speaks. You seized the moment. The plan was perfectly done. We're going to reset focus and the culling will prevail. And they say it doesn't matter if OTM or who are the champs? Dark State? Oh, yeah. Whoever wins, we're going to face the winners, essentially. But I'm very much over this group. So that's probably why I skipped over it. But yeah, we went from that to Dark State backstage. They clearly heard this. They're pretty upset. Not really. Sugars is like, man, they are tripping if they think they're going to take these titles from us, referring to OTM. OTM must be delusional. And Tony D, he better stay out of our business. We've done things to him before. We've dismantled his family, and now he's some sort of lone wolf. No, he should be kept behind bars, says Dark State. And then they remind us that next week they will remain tag champs because you know why. Ain't nobody safe. Which I think means
everyone's safe. Everyone's safe.
Yeah, I think that means everyone is safe.
Yeah.
Just so everyone does know that. We go to our main event. It is the triple threat tag team match. All these women, 6 women in full here, 3 teams in an NXT triple threat tag team match, which means there's 3 people in the match at all times and they can tag in their own partner. None of this tag in other people matches. This is NXT. This is how we do tag team triple threat matches here. However, to keep things in the way NXT is lately, this is a tag team title qualifying match for the TNA knockout.
Yes.
Tag team.
Well, we don't have tag titles in NXT, do we? And they refuse to give the main roster tag titles to NXT. So fuck it. Let's just take the women, the knockouts tag titles.
Focus on the tag team we don't have here. Like, we don't have a tag team division in general here, but I guess the women, they do have some teams. So yeah. So if you did watch TNA, on Thursday. I'm sorry if you did. You can hear our review on Poisonrana Live. Check out Poisonrana in your podcast app. There's new champions, the Elegance. So we got Mr. Elegance, the Iceman, in the front row, watching this, making sure he's scouting for his girls. So the winner of this, is it next week or is this at a future date? They didn't really explain that on this, so maybe they're not sure yet. But the winner of this gets to face the Elegance brand at a later date. But we have a bunch of teams in this. We got Fatal Influence 2.0. We got Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed taking on ZaRuca, Zaria and ZaRuca, versus Rendell, Kendall Gray, and Ren Sinclair in a three-way tag match. Ren is in here first. She's hitting some really nice looking suplexes. The butterfly, I'm assuming Regal Jr. taught her well here in the RenQCC. We have Soul coming in, trying to do all these double teams. And then the move where Zaria lifts her, but then Zaria is like, oh no, my shoulder. So she starts to sell that. And then both of them get sent out to the outside. Fallon hits the 619 from the post, which looked pretty good. And then there's Tope from Zaria at one point. To Zaria. And then there's everyone doing jumping moves. As Kendall hitting that awesome looking moonsault, Ren hitting a crossbody. It was guns blazing at the beginning of this match, with all of them taking each other out as we go into picture-in-picture. Soul is hitting in the tarantula, but then Fallon grabs her while she's doing it and then puts her into the rings of Saturn. And then Ren grabs her and puts her into the cattle mutilation, which I still can't come up with a good pun. Her name is used in so many puns, but cattle mutilation doesn't fit with Ren at all.
Yeah. No, I can't. Yeah.
Trust me, I looked it up. It's hard. So it's the cattle mutilation, but the way she does it is awesome. We talked about this last week where she's upside down and wiggles around, moves her legs and makes it look like this should be her finisher. They should change it to be her finisher because it just looks so good. We come back from break and then there's a doomsday device on Kendall from Fallon and Zaria. So some tag teaming of teams who aren't on the same team. Ren is super popular with this PC crowd. They're loving her here at the Performance Center. There's a high-low from Rendell on Soul for a 2 count. And then at one point, Lainey catches, is it Soul, who's jumping with this awesome, Lainey Reed hits a really nice blue thunder bomb here for a 2 count.
Oh, yeah. Looked great. And kind of caught her out in midair with this one, right?
Looked great, yeah. There's a flying armbar from Kendall. It's all breaking down. There's super kicks. Soul gets sent out. There's the shades of gray. There's my spell check keeps turning Lainey to Vanny, which is awkward. But Lainey hits the stomp to break that up. Then there's JC Jane, who's on the outside. She's getting involved. And then you get Ren, who takes her out. And then she's taken out. So everything's kind of breaking down here. There's a crucifix bomb, which definitely I bit on Lainey. But it's Soul, Zaria who breaks it up. And Zaria and Soul are in together. Soul hits a double Soul Snatcher. And then it allows Zaria to get a F5 in there. I don't think she has a name just other than the F5. But
no, she does.
Mass Destruction. What is it?
Yeah,
I'll laying waste or something. Not End Game. No, what is it? It's one of those things.
Yeah, they've definitely got a name for this.
Yeah, Destruction or something.
Yeah,
Final Fall. But she hits it.
Or is it just Megan Bain I'm thinking of?
Megan Bain does the F5 too,
yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, true. This was really weird for me. This is gonna come across as nitpicking for sure, and I would never nitpick. Never. Me, come on. But as the ref counts the finish, so Zaria hits the F5. As the ref is 1, 2, Vic Joseph is and next week, breaking news: the tag titles will be. Zaria wins the match. I was like, oh, yeah. That was weird. Could you not have? There was someone in his ear at the wrong time, yelling this. But Zaria gets the win, and of course, she gives Soul this evil look. I guess we won. It's well, you did. You won. You even F5 someone and then pin them. But
yeah,
ZaRuca win the match. They get the match tag titles in TNA very soon. I do hope they win the titles. That would be pretty cool. But honestly, this match was really fun. All 6 women were hitting all kind of crazy stuff. I think we've been I don't know if we've been necessarily negative, but Lainey Reed, since coming into Fatal Influence, it's okay, just kind of the replacement. But in here, I think she really was stepping up. We mentioned,
she was the one that stood out the most for me.
Yeah,
in this one, I was really impressed. I thought a lot of her stuff looked really crisp. That crucifix bomb looked great. That blue thunder bomb looked great. Yeah. And they gave her, it felt like the bulk of the match. And yeah, she really kind of turned my head tonight.
I thought she looked good. Like, she definitely stood out. We're not used to seeing her, come out and do a lot of stuff like that. So she looked great. I thought all of the women were doing some good stuff. Like, again, the women's wrestling in NXT is awesome. I don't think that's anything's complaining about. It's the men's division that really suck, but really solid main event here. Like, I thought we had some great wrestling, and I love Ren Sinclair. I love Kendall Gray. Like, I think this was a great snapshot of maybe like reminding us, like, hey, we've had some people get called up and stuff, but look who we still have. And
like the women's division is nothing to worry about in NXT. The main thing is they're completely different problems. I feel on the men's division, both on the tag side and the single side, is who are actual viable contenders for these people. Whereas in the women's side, we're going, man, we need tag team titles in this division. So I guess we're borrowing TNAs for now. We'd love to see a Lola Vice or a Kalani Jordan or a ZaRuca or a Zarya or a Kendall Gray. Any of these women have a title run of some sort. Like, there's so many challengers. Like, the women's division is great. And I thought this match was fantastic. I do love these kind of triple threat style tag matches they do. It's just and whoever's agenting them, I think, do a great job, because it's just non-stop action the whole time. I thought even the kind of interference spots with JC Jane were timed really well in this match. Overall, no, I might sound negative on this show. I actually thought this was a big step up from last week, because I actually thought, aside from the Shiloh Hill, Josh Briggs stuff, the wrestling was pretty solid in this show. Like, I had a lot of fun with the Sean Legacy Eli Drake match. Eli Knight.
Eli Drake.
Eli Knight. Yeah, that's his name. Fuck. I thought I maybe wasn't as high on it as you, but I still thought the North American title match was solid, and I thought a really strong main event. So I thought wrestling-wise, it was the step in the right direction, and there are like things to still be excited about with NXT.
Absolutely. It was a little scary the last few weeks. It's like, wait, what? This is what we have looking forward to. And I think they hit a good reset when they do that. Like, okay, they announce the good stuff from Evolve. Like, anytime we've seen Vanity Project swipe right, we've been pretty big fans, and then they make them NXT exclusive. I think I skipped over, but Sean Legacy also is now an NXT contract. So he is also going to be on TV normal. So like, that could tie into you thinking he's going to be part of like a faction or a story or an angle with Ricky or something. Cause like, they did do an online thing of like, hey, now you're part of our roster essentially. So there were things I still are NXT and I didn't necessarily like, but yeah, there was good wrestling. This women's main event was great. The opening match with Elio LeFleur and Ethan Page was fun. Some of the other stuff, like, definitely surprised me of like, okay, look, you have the talent. It's just, why aren't we using them the right way? And I think we were very fair with critiquing in the last week and maybe the week before of like, this is scary if this is what they're giving us, because look at what we have. And I think it's still the men's division that's like head scratching of like, really? Like, look who we do have. So like, this made me feel a little bit better about the future of NXT. And I'm sure someone could listen to that, be like, oh, but you guys always hate the show. And I'm sure someone could be like, come on, look at this. Really? Like, I do think that if you show me some good wrestling, that's what makes me happy when I watch my wrestling show. So I will say this made me a bit more positive for the next little while. Now, okay, on the flip side, Shiloh Hill's in the ladder match for the NXT championship. So like, okay, we can't get crazy. We can't get carried away, but call me crazy. There was some good wrestling that I'm like, okay, all right.
Do you see and I'm just picking on Shiloh Hill here, but there is always that thing in these like, we've seen it in Chambers, in like ladder matches like this, where on the day someone gets taken out backstage and someone steals their spot.
Right. For Shiloh Hill, though, I don't know. Keanu Carver, he could be in it, right? Like, what do we know now about this match, who's in it? Like Ricky, Shiloh, Sean Legacy. Is that the three? And then we assume Joe Hendry, Tony D'Angelo. What were the other matches? I forget. They added some qualifying matches for next week, but we're gonna. It can't be Shiloh Hill, but who's winning this ladder match? Is it Tony? Is it Ricky? Like next week is Joe Hendry versus Jackson Drake, Andre Chase versus Keanu Carver. Oh my god. And Dion Lennox versus Miles Bourne. Interesting. So, Dion Lennox. Oh, that is interesting.
Keanu Carver, Miles Bourne is a qualifier? No,
Dion Lennox.
Dion Lennox, Miles Bourne.
Yeah. So he's got to cheat.
So Miles has to cheat for that, right?
Right?
Yeah.
That would make sense. That ladder match kind of sounds a little scary to me, but I guess we'll see. So I'm going to say it's going to be Joe, Keanu, and Miles. And then what? Ricky, Sean Legacy, and Shiloh Hill. That is a weird ladder match.
Oh, yeah.
That is so weird. Anyways, that was NXT. Like you've heard, we are always honest about how we feel when we watch it. And I will say, like, I hope we can go in the right direction. So far, WWE in 2026, we're only on January 21st. Like, there's been some good stuff from WWE. Politics aside, it's looking good. All right, it's looking good this year. So
I'd say so far, 2026, 21 days into it, we're doing all right. Okay,
we're gonna eat our words later in the year.
We're doing
probably,
okay.
But okay.
There's a lot of year left.
So continue with good wrestling NXT. Shawn Michaels and I will continue to enjoy watching this show. So didn't hate this show at all, and take that as good praise, NXT. So looking forward to where we go with this. I want to see more of the French Luchador. I want to see some new fresh faces. Swipe right, Sean Legacy, keep it coming with the men's division. Clearly the women are really running this household in NXT because they are killing it with the talent stacked up. They could move more people up and still have enough room for like a really solid roster right now. So that's kind of the way they're at.
We do have one piece of feedback. We do throw up our feedback thread on the Poisonrana group on Facebook. If you're not a member, go search for it. And it is from Magan, who I'm pretty sure a week ago said he's never watching NXT again, but we're pleased you chose to eat your words, Magan. We love you, so thank you. He says, strong wrestling throughout the night. I don't know how long Ethan Page can go unopposed. Elio LeFleur easily slotted as one of the best workers on the roster on his first night alone. It was a very good opener. Sean Legacy and Eli Knight smoked it as well. The new crop of talent are slowly getting their feet wet. This Tony D saga isn't grabbing me. There's no rhyme or reason to whatever he's doing. The main event was NXT's bread and butter. The women, as usual, lit the place up. The last few minutes were balls to the wall. It's damn near a cheat code at this point. When's Vengeance Day?
That is true. Again, no reference of that show. Maybe we get a screwy finish. I wouldn't imagine they do that. I think we will get a champion. That's because it's vacated on the 3rd. But like they could announce a show. But I would say maybe due to all these call-ups, it is a little suspicious that this is the time they haven't announced one. Yeah. Maybe they're a little worried. Like some of the tickets for the previous few years of NXT haven't necessarily been great. Like when they do, like they've been doing smaller arenas, obviously, in venues, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it. That's just assumption, but they're treating this February 3rd show, which is in a few weeks, like a bigger TV show. So maybe that's just what we get instead. But Vengeance Day is usually after Valentine's Day. So I don't know. We could still get it, but we shall see. But there you go. NXT friends, thanks for hanging out with us, talking about some NXT. We will be back next Tuesday night, 10:05, right after NXT, right here on the Post Wrestling YouTube. So check us out next week. Davie will be in Montreal, so we will do some sort of Snap Rana, Poisonrana live road diary, if you will, with Davie's live thoughts on Saturday night's main event. Some point this Sunday we'll do that. So follow us in Insta, podcast feed, YouTube, whatever it is you use. Search Poisonrana Pod. Check out all the other stuff that we do. Poisonrana.ca for links of everything, including our Patreon, tons of shows, and so much more. And appreciate all the postmarks out there worldwide. We love you. Peace and love. Keep cold. Don't keep cold. It is cold. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe and stay warm.
Ahoy!